Hi, welcome to the Music Rig. My name is Ernesto. Today's video we'll be doing a mix breakdown, and this is a request coming from Keep Pushing. Thank you so much for leaving a comment on the mic shootout video. I'll leave a link somewhere around here so you guys can check that out if you haven't seen it yet. But today we'll be looking at the process that I used on those vocals for that specific video, and I think this will be a fun one. So before we dive into this, make sure you like and subscribe. That would really help build the channel, of course. For those of you who have done so already, thank you so much. Welcome back. And so while you're there, if you have a request for the next topic, just go ahead and type it in the comment section. Without further ado, let's get right to the session. So for those of you who have already watched the mic shootout video, the 3 plugins that you see here are the very same ones that I use to do a very quick mix down. I try to demonstrate how I would process those vocals.
I challenged myself to use only 3 plugins. I considered the bare essentials that I use on every mix, and it came down to these 3 things.
Love came down and rescued me. I was blind, but now I see. You gave me hope. You gave me life. You are the reason that I am alive. Love came down and rescued me. I was blind, but now I see.
What we have here is the LA2A. The LA2A from Universal Audio, very well-known optical compressor. So the gain in this instance is set around to 25. When I'm in the studio using an actual LA2A, the actual hardware, I'm normally between 30 and up to 50. I usually don't go past 50. Again, there's no rules to this. My sweet spot tends to be around 40, 45, just depending on whether it's a vocal or an instrument. 25 is where I have it here. And then as far as getting compression, our peak reduction, I have it set at 45. And again, I'm usually between 30 and 50 for peak reduction. So this is where we get our compression. We're able to control the dynamics and get some tone and some character. By using the peak reduction knob, the further you go to the right, the compression becomes more aggressive. It's very important to pay attention to what is happening to the vocal as you begin to move the dial. The LA2A has a very smoothing effect, in my opinion. I also have the legendary Pultec EQ from UAD. On the Pultec, we'll be boosting and cutting highs. The same thing will happen with the lows, except we're not boosting any of the lows, just doing some cutting there. The goal here is to get some more clarity, get some presence out of this vocal, so I'm not being shy at all with the amount of gain that I'm adding here around 8K. This is the high band frequency selector. I discovered that for this particular performance that 8K was pretty smooth on the top end. What you want to avoid is getting harshness. Sometimes your sibilance becomes a bit more exaggerated depending on which frequency you are selecting and how much gain, how much you're boosting it by. The other thing too about the Pultec is that you're able to attenuate or cut. And I've selected attenuation selector switch to be at 5, and I have the attenuation set to about 1. So by doing this, this allows us to smoothen out some of the harshness. On the low frequency, we have it set to 30, and our attenuation is set at 2. And then lastly, we have the reverb from Valhalla, the Valhalla Supermassive. I believe it's like a free plugin, so absolutely love it. If it's still free, definitely jump on it. And even if it isn't free, it's still worth it. All right, so let's just take a quick look at some of these settings on here. The settings don't really matter as much because every source will be a little different. You might try it and find out that you may have to adjust things based on the source material that you have. But for what I have here, these settings, they seem to work across all of the vocals that we use. The vocal track is going to a bus I labeled Vox Bus. For this session, I have the compressor before the EQ. So we're going to take a look at what the compressor is doing, and then we'll go down to the next thing, which is the EQ, and then eventually add the reverb. Here's a before and after with the compressor engaged.
Love came down and rescued me. I was blind, but now I see. Love came down and rescued me. I was blind, but now I see. You gave me hope. You
All right, so what we're going to do next is play this again, but we're going to bypass the Pultec EQ. And as we go through it, I'll engage the Pultec EQ. So basically we'll start with it off and then we'll turn it on. We'll bypass it. That way you guys can hear the nuances as far as what's happening when that Pultec is engaged. Here we go.
Love came down and rescued me. I was blind, but now I see. You gave me hope, you gave me life. You are the reason that I am alive. Love came down and rescued me. I was blind, but now I see. Love came down and rescued me. I was blind, but now I see. You gave me hope, you gave me life. You are the reason that I am alive.
Just remember that some settings may have to be dialed in a little differently depending on what you're recording, who you're recording, the microphone that you're using, the whole vocal chain. What I plan to do is just go over the reason why I dialed in these settings this way, and hopefully that gives you a better idea as to how you might be able to apply the same ideas when you're mixing a vocal. The music that was used for this shootout, which you guys have been listening to, is actually from a rehearsal. And so instead of reinventing the wheel, I just had the vocalist record vocals to the music of that rehearsal. When I was going over each clip of every mic from that shootout, I came to the conclusion that I would probably need to compress anywhere from roughly about 2 to about 5 decibels. And then in trying to keep all of the microphones sounding somewhat similar, I found that on the Pultec, that 8K, boosting 8K on the Pultec really allowed those vocals to kind of cut through all of those guitars and the cymbals and all that from the drums. So this just proves that you don't need a ton of plugins to mix vocals. You know, whatever you have available to control the dynamics, to kind of even out the performance, you may want to use compression. Sometimes you don't need compression. But I do want to throw in as a bonus, I challenge myself to kind of replicate the same thing, just using a different compressor and a different EQ. And so I'm going to show that to you guys here. Hopefully, this kind of gives you some ideas. You can experiment with other plugins, other brands, other processors, and see, what works for you. So that's what I did here.
Love came down and rescued me. I was blind, but now I see. You gave me hope, you gave me life. You are the reason that I am alive. Love came down and rescued me. I was blind, but now I see. You gave me hope, you gave me life. You are the reason that I am alive.
As always, I enjoy sharing with you guys. Please feel free to just experiment and try different things. I hope this video has been useful. So whether you're a beginner or someone who's been doing this for a while, it's definitely a fun thing to be able to try just different techniques and different things. So remember to go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. I will be seeing you guys on the next video. So until then, stay safe.